one who busts their rear for the good of mankind. See also superhero. That's by an author from the FFA. People don't really understand what farmers in our nation, let alone our world, really do to help us all to live. In fact, farmers produce most, if not all, the natural things that we use and consume each day of our lives. Now we're going to hit a couple of topics that are as follows. Why are farmers important still to this day? Well, if they weren't here, we wouldn't have anything. They give us everything from our clothes we wear and the timber we build to our house, to the timber that we build our house, to the meat and vegetables we eat every day. Now the farmers of new and old. Being a farmer in the modern world isn't always the same as long ago. Today many farmers specialize in one crop or one type of livestock, when long ago they farmed many things at once. And also how to keep the tradition going with our youth of today. To not only grow goods, but to grow the farmers of tomorrow. Farmers across the nation produce more than 15% of the nation's produce. In a dictionary I read, it has for the definition as a farmer, as one who operates a farm, or is engaged in the business of farming, a person who produces an agricultural products on a farm. Since there are many different types of farmers, a farmer may be designated as a dairy farmer, cattle farmer, fruit farmer, wheat farmer, sheep farmer, etc. Primarily, a farmer is one who devotes the major portion of his time to farming. Example, a full-time farmer. As I say again, most everything we use comes from some sort of farmer. A lot of products we wear and we use come from a cotton farmer, and wood we build most of our homes and buildings, and the paper and pencils we use to write with and own are grown on a timber farm, owned by a farmer. So no matter what we use and do every day, we're using something grown and made on a farm somewhere. Now, from farming and growing in the Bible in Indian days to farming now are two aspects of the same but also different in the same sense. Let me explain. We have evolved so much over the years. We have gone from doing everything there is to do by hand, and that being the farmer's only job he has all day long. Now we have immigrant workers who keep an eye on a computer, screens that control the machines that do everything for them. As it says in Matthew chapter 13 of the Holy Bible, a farmer went out one day and planted some seeds by hand. As he checked them himself every day, relying on the Lord to supply him with enough water to grow them and watch them, and he watched some of his plants die, and some of them grow to be healthy and multiply. Then to the Native Americans, who used some of the techniques that we use today in our gardens. For example, corn and maize was grown in rows, which made pollination easier. Beans that couldn't grow without a trellis were trained on poles or corn stalks, and gardens were often fertilized with fish from nearby creeks or rivers, and today we use bone or fish meal for the same reason. Now to nowadays, where we use huge tractors and combines and pickers, and sometimes are run by people on them, but in bigger places are run by someone in an office somewhere running it off a computer. And instead of natural fertilizers, we use steroid sprays that are causing cancer all over the U.S. And we're not growing near as much crops as we would if we were to use all natural and growing things slow like they're supposed to be. A recent survey of young farmers and ranchers revealed that computers are being used on 83% of American farms. Nearly 75% of today's young farmers have a cellular phone, and nearly one-third have the access to internet, up from 10.5% from last year. And that brings me to my next point. The farmers of tomorrow are what are going to keep this nation intact and growing. They have a foundation set up for this to grow young farmers and put them on the path of the way they need to go. It is called the Future Farmers of America, also known as the FFA. Again, why do we need farming? To keep goods and produce going throughout the country to help feed our nation. The best way to sum it up is by the great words of Mr. Paul Harvey.
And on the 8th day, God looked down on his planned paradise and said, I need a caretaker. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to get up before dawn, milk cows, work all day in the fields, milk cows again, eat supper, then go to town and stay past midnight at a meeting of the school board. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody willing to sit up all night with a newborn colt and watch it die, then dry his eyes and say, maybe next year. I need somebody who can shape an axe handle from a persimmon sprout, shoe a horse with a hunk of car tire, who can make harness out of hay wire, feed sacks, and shoe scraps, who planting time and harvest season will finish his 40-hour week by Tuesday noon and then painting from tractor back put in another 72 hours. So God made a farmer. God said, I need somebody strong enough to clear trees and heave bales, yet gentle enough to yean lambs and wean pigs and tend the pink-combed pullets, who will stop his mower for an hour to splint the broken leg of a meadowlark. So God made a farmer. It had to be somebody who'd plow deep and straight and not cut corners. Somebody to seed, weed, feed, breed, and rake and disc and plow and plant and tie the fleece and strain the milk. Somebody who'd bail a family together with the soft, strong bonds of sharing. Who would laugh and then sigh and then reply with smiling eyes when his son says that he wants to spend his life doing what Dad does. So God made a farmer.
Now, I have been since the 9th grade and are currently in the FFA. But since I've been in it, I've come to learn a small, short speech that is truly about a farmer. And I mean it with all my heart, along with the other farmers when we say it. And while we're working, we show it, called the FFA Creed. I'm reading the last paragraph of it by E.M. Tiffany. I believe that American agriculture can and will hold true to the best traditions of our national life, and that I can exert an influence in my home and community, which will stand silent for my part in that inspiring task. So to keep the tradition going, while in school, put your children in FFA, and let them gain some knowledge of how to become something that deals with a little bit of farming, and let the nation grow along with agriculture to raise up more farmers of today and tomorrow. In conclusion, if we won't become the farmers of tomorrow, no one will. So don't quit with listening to me. Go out and tell other people about farming. Let's keep the tradition going. So even though we have changed over the years, and with old techniques to our new ones, with our new equipment, we still have the same intention to feed and help grow our nation into the best it can be. So next time we put a stitch of clothing on, or eat a bite of food, or even look at the materials in your house, you will now think about a farmer, and all the time he put in it, and the pride and joy it took he or she to make it. Thank you.